Welcome everyone in lecture 13 of unit 3 context free grammar. In previous lecture we have studied the ambiguity in grammar. It means that we have proved whether a grammar is ambiguous or it is not. So in today's lecture we are going to study ambiguity in language. Whether a language is unambiguous or not. So look at the definition first. If L is a context free language, we are talking about context free languages for which there exists an unambiguous grammar, then L is said to be unambiguous language. And second part of the definition is that if every grammar that generate L is ambiguous, then language is called inherently ambiguous language. And inherently ambiguous language is important because several times a short note with the help of an example is asked in the previous year papers. So from the definition we can see a language is either an unambiguous because there exists an unambiguous grammar for it. First of all, we have to know for a language there may be several grammars. If any of them is unambiguous, then the language is unambiguous grammar. If all grammars that can generate language L are ambiguous, if every grammar, all possible grammar that generate L is ambiguous, then the language will be called inherently ambiguous language. So language will be either unambiguous because there exists an unambiguous grammar, or language will be called inherently ambiguous language. So let us look at the definition in two parts. Let us look at the first part. Suppose we have a grammar G that we have already seen in previous lecture, and we know that this grammar is ambiguous grammar because we have proved that triple A, or we can say double A also, can be derived from more than one way having different parts. If we will put A here, we will get A. If we will put A here, we will get A, and both parts tree will be different. So it is a ambiguous grammar. What can we say it is a ambiguous language or inherently ambiguous language? Let us look at the language that generated from this particular grammar. If you will observe, this grammar will derive A, double A, triple A, or so on, and the language of this grammar is AA closure, or you can say A positive closure. And we already have a grammar for this language, say G1, S tends to AS and S tends to A. And this grammar for this particular language is unambiguous. Why? Because there is only one way to derive A. There is only one way to derive double A. and there is only one way to derive AAA, or for any string there is only one way and there is only one derivation tree for each string. So for that particular language we have ambiguous grammar also and we have unambiguous grammar also. But if there exists, as per the definition we already know, if there exists an unambiguous grammar for a particular language, then L is said to be unambiguous language. So L is unambiguous, and you can see that for a particular language there may be more than one grammar, and if there exists any one that is unambiguous grammar for that particular language, then L is unambiguous. Other way we can say that if every grammar, there are many grammar possible for L and every grammar is ambiguous, it means that there is no way to write unambiguous grammar for that particular language, then L is called inherently ambiguous. Let us look at inherently ambiguous now. Inherently ambiguous language. This is the second part of definition. If every grammar that generate L is ambiguous, then language is inherently ambiguous language. Or we can say there is no way to write unambiguous grammar for that language, then that language will be known as inherently ambiguous language. So either we can write unambiguous grammar. If we can write unambiguous grammar, then language is unambiguous, or we can not write any grammar. There is no way to write unambiguous grammar. It means every grammar we can write for that language is ambiguous, then language is inherently ambiguous. Let us look with the help of an example. Say L is equal to an ai a raised to power I, b raised to power j, c raised to power k, where I equal to j or j equal to k. And we can easily observe that this language is the union of two different cases, an, bn, cm, n comma m greater than equal to 0, union am, bn, cn, n comma m greater than equal to 0. Why it's so? Because if I equal to j, we will get a n bn followed by any number of c, or if j equal to c, it means any number of a followed by b and cn, just like that. And we already know to write the grammar for this particular language we need to consider both cases, either an bn cm or am bn cn, and s1 tends to a and b and say x, and c is say capital C, x is ax b slash epsilon, and c is c closure. Here s2 is a m, yani its mean a closure, and b and c and say y is b by c slash epsilon, and a is a closure. So we already know there is no another way to write this particular grammar. We already know, because we cannot consider both cases at one time. If we will consider both cases at one, it will become an, bn, cn, and that is not context free. We cannot write CFG for an, bn, cn, where we have to consider both cases at one time. It will be two different cases always, and this particular grammar is ambiguous. We can write the grammar for this language in one way, and this way is this way of writing grammar is ambiguous grammar, because we can prove that this grammar is ambiguous. Say for string abc, we can derive it using s1. S1 tends to axb, s1 tends to xc, where x will be replaced by axb, where x is replaced by epsilon, and this c will be replaced by cc, and this c will be replaced by epsilon. We will derive abc using s1. We can also derive abc using s2. A tends to ay, replacing epsilon here, then byc, replacing epsilon here, we will get abc here. And we are almost sure that parse tree will be differ, because in this case we use s1. S1 tends to xc, x tends to axb, replacing xy, this c by c, capital C, replacing x by epsilon, and c by epsilon. In this case we are using s2. S2 tends to ay, and a tends to aa, y tends to byc, and replacing it by epsilon here. So we can derive abc from two ways, and parse tree are different, because here we are using s1 and here we are using s2. So grammar is ambiguous, and this is the only way. This is the only way to write the grammar for this particular language. There is no another way, because we have to consider two cases differently. And you will observe all strings like that can be derived using s1 or can be derived using s2 also, because count of a is equal to count of b here, and count of b is also equal to count of c. I equal to j or j equal to k, I equal to j or j equal to k, I equal to k, j or j equal to k. So it can be derived using s1 also, using s2 also, and the language is inherently ambiguous language, because there is no way to write unambiguous grammar for it. So here is a language L equal to an, bn, cm, dm, n comma m greater than equal to 0, union an, bm, cm, dn, n comma n equal to n comma m greater than equal to 0, for you to practice, to observe that this particular language is also inherently ambiguous. You can see by writing the grammar for it, and this language will be inherently ambiguous for, and you have to check for some strings also. Thank you for attending the lecture. Take care.